Hello, good evening and welcome to Breaking Views on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. Ladies and gentlemen, political circles today were abuzz once again, and they were abuzz because of what had happened as all eyes were set in Pune. Sharad Pawar, the veteran leader, the man who's been seen as Chanakya, putting together political parties, also the man responsible for the Mahavikas Aghadi, which took on the Bharatiya Janata Party. Sharad Pawar today, after a long hiatus, shared the stage with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The event was in Pune, but it set the political circles abuzz all across the country. Let me tell you in details what all happened. All eyes of politicians, political pundits were turned today on Prime Minister Narendra Modi and NCP leader Sharad Pawar as they shared the dais at a function in Pune. The event held significance in the backdrop of the opposition uniting under the India banner to take on Prime Minister Narendra Modi ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. The NCP also last month witnessed the split, the Chacha-Bhatija war. Ajit Pawar breaking ranks to join the Bharatiya Janata Party and now is a Deputy Chief Minister in the state of Maharashtra. While Mr Pawar's decision to be on the stage with the Narendra Modi, which was a pre-planned event, drew unease in the MVA partners, especially the Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray faction, which through Saamna editorial criticized the veteran leader's decision. In the end, both Mr. Modi and Mr. Pawar avoided making any direct political statements on the current situation in the country or in the state or taking on each other. But the question that many are asking at this moment, was it right for Mr. Sharad Pawar, who wants to put together, wants to play an important role as far as the opposition unity is concerned, at a time when the opposition is bringing a no-confidence motion against Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to share this stage with the Prime Minister? Many calling it double standards, others confused with what the senior Pawar is thinking. What move does he have up his sleeve? Take a look at this story.
Autonomy on display as NCP leader Sharad Pawar shared the stage with Prime Minister Narendra Modi after almost 7 years. Also on stage was Ajit Pawar, who had rebelled against the senior Pawar and had become Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister. The occasion was the Prime Minister being honoured with the Lokmanya Tilak National Award in Pune.
या खुद कैसा मुझे इंदिरा गांधी होते, खान अब्दुल खान गफार होते, बाबा साहब देवदास होते, शंकरदयाल शर्मा होते, अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी होते, डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंग होते, अशी अनेक मान्यवरांची नावं या ठिकाणी घेतली जाते. आणि या मान्यवरांच्या यादीमध्ये पंक्तीमध्ये आज नरेंद्र मोदींच्या नावाचा सुद्धा या ठिकाणी समावेश झाला, याचा आनंद आपल्या सगळ्यांना आहे.
आज पुणे में आप सबके बीच मुझे जो सम्मान मिला है, ये मेरे जीवन का एक अविस्मरणीय अनुभव है. जो जगह, जो संस्था सीधे तिलक जी से जुड़ी रही हो, उसके द्वारा लोकमान्य तिलक नेशनल अवार्ड मिलना मेरे लिए सौभाग्य की बात है.
Opposition leaders who only recently announced an alliance to fight the BJP are questioning the political position being taken by Sharad Pawar. Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray MP Sanjay Raut has attacked both Pawar and the BJP.
शरद पवार साहब का दावा है कि 3 महीने पहले मैंने खुद प्रधानमंत्री को न्योता दिया था इस कार्यक्रम का. तो अगर मैं वहां हाजिर नहीं रहूं तो ठीक नहीं दिखता. प्रधानमंत्री जी का एक प्रोटोकॉल होता है. लेकिन 1 महीने पहले हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने उनके भोपाल के सम्मेलन में सबसे बड़ा हमला किया था. 70,000 करोड़ 80,000 करोड़ भ्रष्टाचार. प्रधानमंत्री का भाषण होने के बाद 2 दिन में ये सभी भ्रष्टाचारी लोग उनके पार्टी में चले आए। कहाँ गया भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ आपका नारा सर?
Ajit Pawar has met Sharad Pawar 3 times in the last month after rebelling against him. Sharad Pawar has not clarified on these meetings, creating confusion in the minds of many NCP MLAs who don't plan to attend the monsoon session of the assembly.
NCP Chief Sharad Pawar is playing an important role for opposition unity, and the next meeting of these parties are going to be in Mumbai. While leaders of several opposition parties requested Sharad Pawar not to share dais with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Sharad Pawar and Narendra Modi can be seen together, and these pictures are something that the leaders of the opposition parties won't like. In Pune, with camera person Sanjay Mandal, Sohit Mishra, NDTV.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so Mr. Pawar's meeting, or at least this occasion of him sharing the stage with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the little bit bonhomie that we saw between both the leaders, has it put the India Alliance at unease, specifically in Maharashtra, the Maha Vikas Aghadi Alliance at unease? Confusion also as far as the own MLAs of NCP, those who are supporting Mr. Sharad Pawar, or is everybody reading too much into political courtesies these days? Let's just put that out to our panel to try and understand the impact and what is going to happen as far as this entire event is concerned. We are being joined by Mr. Rohit Chandawakar, senior journalist, who is joining us at this moment. Rashid Kedwai, senior journalist, political analyst and author, also with us. Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist, also with us this evening. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time out. I want to start by asking you this first question, Mr. Chandawakar. Sharad Pawar, his moves, everybody say that, his right hand doesn't know what the left hand is going to do. Are we reading too much into him sharing the stage on a pre-planned event? Or is he still, with his moves, sending out a message, sailing in 2 boats ahead of 2024?
Ankit, that's the question I think everybody in Maharashtra, especially those in politics or those connected with politics, have in their mind today. Because Sharad Pawar has always played this, has done this tightrope walk for the last 20 years, 23 years since he formed his party, especially. But even before that, he's been doing this tightrope walk. He's known for, this kind of a strategy where he keeps his opposition leaders also at a friendly space, and also continues to be an alliance partner of the ruling party. Earlier it was Congress or whatever. So there is this confusion that has prevailed for many years. What makes this complicated and really complex this time is, like Sanjay Raut was saying in his bite a while ago that we played, that just a month ago, Narendra Modi-led BJP engineered a vertical split in Sharad Pawar's party,
right,
which resulted in Ajit Pawar, Praful Patel and others walking away. On that backdrop, after a few days, Sharad Pawar announced that he is still very much against the BJP and in his own camp, not with the BJP. So on that background, whether Sharad Pawar should have attended today's event, because that has created huge confusion among the party cadre and also the opposition alliance. The Congress is unhappy with this. Congress spokesperson openly said this yesterday on camera.
Right.
The Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray group seems to be unhappy. And there is confusion within the BJP also, because they also don't know, how the power sharing and seat sharing will take place in case NCP lock, stock and barrel crosses over this side.
So confusion all around Mr. Pawar has created with one just move. And Mr. Rashid Kedwai, how should the opposition unity group, the India bloc, because though there have been few murmurs from the Congress local leaders in Maharashtra, top leaders of the party, whether it's the party president or senior leaders, have refrained from saying anything as far as Mr. Pawar is concerned. Should the India bloc be worried about Mr. Sharad Pawar's role?
I think, Ankit, the India alliance has an ostrich-like approach because they don't want to have any kind of confrontation. What we are seeing in Maharashtra, normally circumstances, if a prime minister goes and if a leader of opposition is there to welcome him, it's a very welcoming thing. But it takes two to tango, and in the backdrop of what had happened in NCP, what Mr. Pawar is doing is bizarre. It's not bizarre, actually. There is a political explanation. Mr. Pawar is a king without kingdom. I mean, to quote, him, what he had said about Congress, it applies to him. He's behaving like a old, days zamindar who is no longer has any land holdings. So he's trying to, project himself as a Maharashtra or Maratha strongman, where his party has gone. Now the problem is that opposition does not want to make a big hue and cry, because if you see, on the stage, sharing stage with Mr. Sharad Pawar was also Mr. Sushil Kumar Shinde,
Yes.
who's a senior Congress leader, and another person who was the organizer, that great grandson of Tilak, he was there. He is the party state party general secretary. So this is really absurd kind of thing. So I think the opposition, what they're trying to do is they just think that it will, it will be one day event and it will go over and then things will be normal. But I don't think so. Long and short of Mr. Pawar's strategy is he wants to be on the winning side. If Mr. Modi is going to get another term, Mr. Pawar will go with him. And if the opposition can create some problem for Mr. Modi, Mr. Pawar wants to be party to it. The opposition does not have a choice to discard or dump Mr. Pawar on its own.
So they don't have a choice. But Shekhar Iyer, how should the BJP see this move as far as Mr. Sharad Pawar is concerned? Like Mr. Navagar was saying, should it create some sort of a confusion in the state BJP as well? I mean, already there are talks about problems as far as seat sharing is concerned between Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray, the NCP faction of Ajit Pawar, and with Mr. Sharad Pawar, if he moves lock, stock and barrel, this could create a lot of headache ahead of the 2024 elections.
Ankit, whether Pawar had joined today's function or not, the problem of seat sharing is a bigger issue. That will be there. But those who know in Maharashtra, just as Rohit ji was saying now, people in Maharashtra have seen this for the last 20, 25 years, because that is the enigma. That enigma is called Sharad Pawar. His politics is that. So nobody can predict, and everybody knows, even Sanjay Raut, he also knows what it is because he has been very close to Sharad Pawar. Everybody knows, see, this is not, but then Sharad Pawar is also known for extending political courtesies. You see, he has never been faulted for that. And today's function, if you see, and in fact, I would say both the leaders avoided any political statements,
Yes,
such, given the current scenario, number one. Number two, some people are alluding to Sharad Pawar's remarks today that even Chhatrapati Shivaji, never snatched anyone's land. It was seen as allusion to the split that had took place in NCP and Shiv Sena. That is how BJP came. Some people are alluding, but Sharad Pawar is known to be that, and just as Rashidji was saying, that even opposition leaders, of course, there was disquiet because I think particularly the fact that today the Delhi Services Bill came in Parliament, and they thought in the next few days, if Sharad Pawar is not available in Delhi, the opposition alliance would not be able to hold crucial discussions on how to oppose this bill. Things like that. But bearing that, everybody knows, and Sharad Pawar and Modi ji, they enjoy a very good relations.
That's true, but
let us not forget, Ankit,
politics with more than moves is also about political optics. The message that you give with the imagery that you present, with the state that you share, with the the body language that you have. And Mr. Rohit Chandwakar, in that sense, isn't this most confusing for those MLAs, those who remained loyal to Sharad Pawar? I mean, we have been seeing reports that they are skipping the assembly at this moment. They don't know which side to go and sit, whether they want to sit with the treasury benches or they are going to sit with the opposition. Isn't this going to be extremely confusing? Some may even regret, being with Mr. Sharad Pawar because there is lack of clarity.
That's very true, Ankit. That is point number one, that there is confusion and MLAs are confused, etc. Point number two, very important, very crucial, is that in Western Maharashtra, which is Sharad Pawar's bastion, Pune district and other districts, the main political adversaries have been BJP on one side and NCP on the other side. The NCP has taken over all the space that Congress possessed earlier, and now it is NCP that is controlling the local municipal corporations in many places. the cooperative societies, the cooperative sector, sugar mills, etc. And the BJP is the main adversary there. So if NCP and BJP, these two parties come together, imagine what will the Karyakartas do? I mean, whom do they fight? Who's the enemy for them? They're totally confused. They don't know what is going on. Now, the common factor that Mr. Sharad Pawar and Narendra Modi have shared over last many years is the distrust that they have with the top command of Congress party. And that is what has kind of given them a bond.
Right.
Remember, Sharad Pawar has always been very uncomfortable with the party being controlled from Delhi. And the very reason for him forming his own party was that he wanted to be his own boss and live on his own terms. That is what has kind of created a bond between Mr. Narendra Modi and Sharad Pawar over the last 15, 20 years. And I think Mr. Sharad Pawar is now exploiting that bond and kind of showing the world that, nobody can take him for granted. Opposition alliance can't take him for granted. He needs his space and he has other options open. So he's making all these statements through these optics that you mentioned in the world of social media, in the world of, breaking news,
Right.
Videos going viral on phone. This is his message to the world right now.
Shekhar Iyer, if I may bring you in, is it also somewhere a message to the BJP that I am friends with your top boss, so don't try anything that, anything other than what you already have. Don't push it. I know Narendra Modi.
Yeah, one can say that, but let us not forget, that googly that Pawar talked about. When Devendra Fadnavis made that disclosure that Sharad Pawar was in touch during that period, 2019, and was trying to form government. And we all know in Parliament House in October of 2019, when Sharad Pawar met Prime Minister, and Sharad Pawar later explained it as discussing the farmers' problem. That is the time when there was the fight between Shiv Sena and the BJP over CM's post. See, as far as Sharad Pawar is concerned, he cannot be, tied down, put in a box. He believes in talking to all sides. And, for all that is why that impression that the so-called split that has happened in NCP,
Right.
despite the fact that it has gone official, they have returned to EC, they have returned to Speaker. At least Ajit Pawar, as your reporter was mentioning, has already met Sharad Pawar thrice. There was also a request when Praful Patel also we should not split. So Sharad Pawar will keep all his options open, and his party and supporters of that party will accept all this. For them, this is not contradiction.
Okay.
This is not a contradiction for an icon, person who is an icon for them.
Okay. Rashid Kidwai, as I was saying earlier, optics matter a lot in politics, and you know it better, having written so many books about how the prime ministers and other leaders have presented themselves. The fact remains that this, in terms of optics, at a time when the opposition is fighting the Modi government tooth and nail in the parliament over Manipur issue, over the Delhi ordinance, and a no confidence motion has already been tabled and set to be discussed on between 8th to 10th of this month, Mr. Sharad Pawar, seen with the Prime Minister, with the kind of bonhomie that they share, it doesn't look very well for the opposition. It will create mistrust. It will also create an confusing imagery for the voter of India bloc.
Absolutely, Ankit. What you see, all political parties and individuals are a bundle of contradiction. But what happened today in Pune is a very glaring example of it. And the opposition, as I said, they just want this day to pass as if nothing has happened. But it's also a reflection on Mr. Narendra Modi. Look at the man who's so powerful and who has said it in Parliament and outside Parliament. "Main ek hi kafi hu," and he's so desperate. So is there something in 2024 that he's not so sure? Already had 38 partners, and he's trying to get he's already got 3/4 or 2/3 of that political party, that being NCP. He wants to get 1/3 of it also. And Mr. Pawar is trying to project himself as he's at of same stature. But as I said, he's a king without kingdom. The Sahib doesn't have a hold over his own NCP.
Okay.
So what is he talking about? It's actually a kind of a political OTT that is going on, and I think the scriptwriter has a sense of humor.
All right, gentlemen, we'll leave it there. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And it is important in a political year to try and distill the noise and, of course, the imagery of what somebody is trying to present and how it is being played to the voters in the gallery. Always a pleasure having all three of you on the broadcast. Thank you. for joining us. I want to now shift focus, ladies and gentlemen, to the other big story that took place, the political story that took place today, and that too in the parliament. After a lot of noise, of opposition, and a lot of uproar, finally the Home Minister, Amit Shah, today, in fact, tabled, in fact, the important bill that after the ordinance, in fact, was presented by the union government in Delhi. Today, the Union Home Minister introduced the Government of National Capital Territory Bill 2023, which effectively, in fact, gives once again the powers of over the services to the Lieutenant Governor and by proxy to the Government of India. There was a lot of objections by the opposition party, the Congress getting up in support of the Aam Aadmi Party. The Aam Aadmi Party, remember, continuously has been making objections as far as this bill is concerned. How did it all pan out on the floor of the parliament today amidst the showdown between the opposition and the Aam Aadmi Party, which calls it against federal structure, which calls it against the political ethos, and the BJP, which has termed it necessary for the smooth functioning of bureaucracy in the national capital? Take a look.
Even as the parliament remained deadlocked over Manipur, the government introduced a bill to replace the contentious Delhi ordinance. Amit Shah tabled the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill in the Lok Sabha amidst opposition sloganeering.
हमारे संविधान ने इस सदन को संपूर्ण सत्ता दी है कि दिल्ली राज्य के लिए किसी भी कानून को लेकर आने की। सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने स्पष्ट किया है कि संसद दिल्ली संघ राज्य क्षेत्र के लिए कोई भी कानून बना सकता है। अतः ये सारे जो ऑब्जेक्शन लिए गए हैं वो राजनीतिक है, इसका कोई संवैधानिक आधार नहीं है।
There was quick dissent to the bill, led by the Congress.
Number two, the bill infringes the principle of representative democracy, which is a basic feature of the Constitution. The legislators are accountable to their electorate. The electorate must have a say in who governs them. If the Delhi government is not able to control and hold to account the officers posted in its service, sir, the fact is that it's their responsibility. The legislature cannot be fulfilled.
The Aam Aadmi Party claims the bill will murder the democratic process in Delhi.
दिल्ली का जो अध्यादेश लाया जा रहा है, मुझे नहीं लगता कि इससे ज़्यादा गैर लोकतांत्रिक और असंवैधानिक बिल कभी भी भारत की संसद के भीतर लाया गया है। ये दिल्ली में डेमोक्रेसी को बाबूक्रेसी में तब्दील कर देगा। अब लोकतंत्र नहीं बचेगा, अफसरशाही बचेगी दिल्ली में।
The bill gives the centre control over appointments, postings and transfers of Delhi bureaucrats. Some changes from the ordinance offer some respite to the Delhi government in terms of legislation. A key portion that prevented the Assembly from creating laws on State Public Services and State Public Service Commission has been removed. The powers granted to the Lieutenant Governor to appoint chiefs of all bodies, boards and corporations has also been curbed. He will now deal only with bodies set up through an Act of Parliament.
The Delhi Ordinance Bill is all set to worsen the standoff between the opposition and the Treasury benches in the Parliament. And remember, the Speaker has allotted 3 days for a discussion on the no-confidence motion from 8th to 10th of August. Prime Minister is likely to reply to the motion on 10th of August. And these 3 days from 8th to 10th is likely to witness the maximum fireworks that we have seen in the monsoon session so far. With Pooja Arya in New Delhi, Megha Prasad for NDTV.
Remember Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, who was going and meeting all the opposition party leaders, termed the battle of the numbers in Rajya Sabha, whether this bill passes the test in Rajya Sabha, as the semi-final to the 2024 elections. So where does the match stand? Because it was all very crucially tilted or hinged on support of 3 political parties, YSRCP, BJD and also the TDP. So where does the number stand after the BJD and YSRCP both have committed their support to the government on this bill and also against the no confidence motion? Numbers, how do they stack up? total strength of the Rajya Sabha, 245. There are 7 vacancies at this moment in Rajya Sabha. So the current strength comes down to 238. That brings the majority mark to 120. NDA, that is the National Democratic Alliance led by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, 111 is the number that they have. Remember, they need 120. Now, India Alliance with BRS is voting against it, has 105. So 111 and 105. Now with the BJD and YSRCP also extending support, what happens? NDA 111 plus YSRCP is 9 and BJD is 9. The number for them goes up to 129, which easily sails the bill through even in Rajya Sabha. 4 remain non-aligned. So at this moment, if I go by the analogy that Mr. Kejriwal had put up, the opposition alliance is losing the semi-final battle because of 2 major political parties, that is the YSRCP and the BJD. All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. One story that everybody is talking about today. From politics, I want to shift focus to this story, is the violence that has taken place right in our backyard, just few kilometers, from the national capital in Nuh and in Gurgaon in Haryana. There have been fresh violence in Gurugram today, a day after the communal clashes broke out in the Mewat region. Now, restaurants and shops were vandalized, and I'm talking about a few hours ago. In fact, this happened, and it happened just few kilometers, 30 to 40 kilometers from where I'm standing right now in the national capital. Eyewitnesses said that mob vandalized about 200. A mob of 200 entered this area in Gurugram near about sector 56-57, and at 4 p.m. with sticks and stones, and they burnt many of these shops down. The fire brigade had to be called in. At this moment, the administration says the situation is under control. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, there has been talks about conspiracy, instigation, social media being used as a weapon. One person who is at the center of this entire controversy is Monu Manesar. Just take a look at what has happened and how social media has been used to fuel fire in Haryana. My colleague Narendra with this explanation.
Now, we know that social media played a big role in triggering the communal clashes in the Nuh district of Haryana that erupted on Tuesday evening. Now, the whole story really began on Sunday, a day before the clashes, when a Bajrang Dal member called Monu Manesar posted a video to his Instagram account declaring that he would be taking part in the VHP Yatra in Nuh and also asked people to turn out in big numbers. Now, let's recap on who Monu Manesar actually is. He's the head of the Bajrang Dal in Haryana and a leader of the notorious Gau Rakshak Dal in Mewat. He's also the main accused in the murder of 2 Muslim cattle traders, Junaid and Nasir, last year. Their bodies were found charred in their car, and ever since he's been declared as absconding, although he regularly posts videos of cow vigilantism on his social media.
All right, that's all the time that we have in this edition of Breaking Views. News and updates continue on NDTV. Stay tuned.